Okay, as promised a few weeks ago, here is one of the countdowns I've been planning to make. The top 5 video game soundtracks of 2013. As always, let me state a couple of rules first. Number 1, this is my opinion and the soundtracks I personally liked. Number 2, I've had to play the game in order for it to be on here. Number 3, these are games released in 2013 for North America. And number 4, no licensed music and remixes. So sorry Grand Theft Auto 5 and Project Cross Zone. So now that that's out of the way, let's begin. Number 5, Regular Show Mordecai and Rigby in 8-Bit Land. Now I gotta be real here. This game sucks! You wanna know why? Stay tuned to my channel for an upcoming review on it. But apart from that, it did have some positives, the music being one of them. As you can hear, the soundtrack I believe is fully made up of chiptune music and is very catchy. Of course it should be expected because this game is a WayForward title and they make some pretty damn good music, or so I've heard. Pretty much if it weren't for the game's music, I would have hated this game more than I would, and because of it, I give the composers mad props for making a good soundtrack. This game, however, still wasn't worth the $30 I paid for it, however. Number 4, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. If I were to describe this game's music in one word, it would be charming. This game's soundtrack was composed by an electronic group named Power Glove, and that was an excellent decision, in the sense that each track of theirs fit perfectly both for the futuristic setting of the game and the scenes going on throughout. Whether it was a moment in which the main character had to fight a horde of soldiers, whether it was a moment in which he had to face a blood dragon, heck, whenever he was going to point A to point B running there, a great track played to the point that became memorable. With a memorable soundtrack like that, and it's being composed up of techno-electronic music, this game's soundtrack I definitely had to put on the list. Number 3, Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. I gotta be real here. I'm not that big into orchestrated/symphonic soundtracks. I mean, I can respect the soundtracks for games like Elder Scrolls, Halo, and Uncharted for setting the mood for their respective games, but honestly, are their soundtracks memorable to a point that you'll buy them via MP3s and CDs? For others, sure, but me, not really. However, that doesn't mean I don't like all orchestral/symphonic soundtracks. There are some memorable ones, this game being one of them. Thanks to a review or two and the game's opening music, I instantly knew the soundtrack was gonna be pretty amazing, and so far, from the few hours I've put into the game, it did not disappoint. It just sounds so magical, and it greatly supports the main character's adventure into the world he's put into. Can't say much more about it other than it lives to hype. Go check it out and be amazed. Number 2, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Say what you want about this game's soundtrack, I, however, personally love the fuck out of it. In terms of music, Platinum, for the most part, does good soundtracks, and this one was so badass. As you're hearing it right now, this game's soundtrack is composed of metal mixed with electronica, and it complements how crazy the game's gameplay is. Just imagine watching some fights or battles that are face-melting on the same level as this game right here or Dragon Ball Z, with a soundtrack like this blasting out of your speakers. Tell me you wouldn't be pumped and wouldn't want to kick a ton of ass to music like this. I would. And if this song doesn't cut, then listen to the rest of the boss themes, which are the biggest highlights of the soundtrack. Heck, this soundtrack is so amazing, my brother even loves it, to a point that it's in his iTunes playlist. And he doesn't give a shit about video game music as long as it relates to that stupid League of Legends. Overall, give it a listen. I just wish it got more recognition, however. Oh well, shit happens. Number 1. Anarchy Reigns. In my opinion, this game's music stood out to me the most in the sense of how fucking sick it was compared to the rest. A nice jambalaya of underground hip-hop songs with lyrics talking about things from character descriptions to the dystopian setting to just the overall premise of hunting down and killing others is what this game's soundtrack consisted of. In terms of the artists of the songs playing throughout the action, you've got a whole bunch of unknown rappers who I am now starting to get into thanks to this game, as well as the heavy-hitting underground rap group Dilated Peoples singing the Kret song, which is playing right now. Also, I just want to throw out that this game isn't all about rap, however, as the menu screen and the training mode plays both the great jazzy and electronica too. With just being way different from everything else I've listened to for the past generation, as well as being good rap music compared to what we have today, I definitely needed to put this game as my number 1 spot for a best soundtrack of 2013. Some of you might hate the game, but go pick up the soundtrack nonetheless if you're big into hip-hop. Good one to be exact. So those were my favorite video game soundtracks from last year. As always, let me know in the comments down below what your favorite video game soundtracks of last year were. I love hearing what others have to say. Anyway, this video is going to be released in the new year, so I'd like to say a Happy New Year to everybody in the gaming community. Anyway, that's it. Until next video.